years one. And what our students need to go through to learn more during their another 2 years time related to the financial statements, and what they should do to enhance their capabilities and rest of the things. I hand over the mic and this platform to Vaisali ma'am to take over from here. And this session is yours, ma'am. And I request the students to take the note during this interaction because these are invaluable. These, whatever the experiences our distinguished guests share, those are invaluable in terms of, it cannot be like measured in terms of the money because these are invaluable. That's why I request everyone to take the notes, and I request Vaisali ma'am to take over from here. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. And
Thank
this
you,
platform
Bhushan
is
sir.
yours.
Actually, for the first part, I could not listen to anything because my net was a little jittery, but I believe you must have introduced me really nicely. So thank you so much for that. And
Actually, nothing. It is only I have been telling about the facts. You have
yeah,
done exceedingly well, considering your age. We wish you. Okay, carry on, please.
yeah, thank you so much. Okay, guys, hello and welcome everyone. I am super glad to see you all here and thank you so much for having me. Can I request you guys to please switch on your cameras maybe so that we could interact a little better, if that's not a problem to you all? Yeah, thank you. I see a few students opening their cameras. Maybe all of us can support me with this. Yeah, a few more. Thanks so much.
Students, don't hesitate to switch on your cameras because it will make your interactions more lively because, of course, it is a webinar, but your switching on the camera will make it more interactive. Okay, please.
Okay, so maybe meanwhile, till the students are opening their camera and maybe getting a little comfortable with it, I don't want this session to be a little boring because I myself have attended such similar sessions and I really want you all guys to be a part of it and enjoy it. Okay, so today we're here to discuss a thought that often takes a back seat in our minds as we navigate through our busy lives. Many of us mostly choose our courses based on maybe personal goals or maybe like they seem the best option available that, hey, Vishali, my friends are pursuing MBA. Let me also pursue some MBA or maybe some PGDM course or something similar of that sort. But how often do we actually stop and consider what is the greater impact of our education choices, our career choices on the country or on the world? How often do we think, how does our education contribute to the economy? What is the bigger purpose of this or maybe the impact of it? And yes, this, ladies and gentlemen, is our topic for today, which is the need of business schools and the role being played by you business graduates in today's economy. And as your facilitator, as rightly introduced by Sir, let me tell you a bit about myself. My name is Vaishali and I am a chartered accountant. I work with KPMG as an assistant manager in audits, and I also own an event management company by the name of All Grow Events, and I'm empaneled as a career counselor and a speaker in the committee of ICAI. So be assured that you are in good hands. I qualified as a CA 3 years ago and have spent a total of 6 years navigating this dynamic world of business and finance. Like most of you today, I once sat where you guys are now. As I said, I have been a part of similar lectures, similar sessions all throughout my life as a student. And I used to sit there with like a full lot of excitement, a bit of nervousness, like what's going to happen? What are they going to teach me? What is there in the box? And let me assure you, this journey is going to be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. You're going to get new skills, lifelong friends, and open doors to incredible opportunities. And that's one thing that I can promise you out of this PGDM course that you guys have enrolled at NDIIT. That's going to be first thing that you guys are for sure going to get. To kick things off, now that I've told you about myself, let's start by knowing each other better so that we can interact better and you can ask questions fully to me. Okay, I've told you about myself, and maybe I wouldn't want you guys to introduce each other like in an hour because that would be quite a long thing. But I would surely want to know what are your expectations from your PGDM journey, maybe from the session, what are you looking for, what skills are you going to gain by this course that you have enrolled. Maybe a quick show of hands, and quickly you guys can unmute yourself and tell that maybe we're looking for learning new opportunities, new skills, making friends, companions, whatsoever. Quickly unmute yourself one by one, and then you can tell me.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Ma'am, from this course, I want to enhance my soft skills and technical skills also because I have a lack of it in myself. I think so.
Oh, that's a very great answer. Maybe somebody else can also add on to what he said.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thanks, Rima. Go ahead.
Ma'am, I want career opportunities. That's why I joined this PGD.
Oh, that's wonderful. Somebody else would want to add. I see few names: Vishesh, Azhar. If you guys would want to tell me what are your opportunities and what are your expectations from the course. Guys, don't shy away, please. Okay, fine. It's okay. So, thank you so much for sharing, both of you. I am just honestly thrilled to meet such a vibrant and ambitious group of future business leaders as I'm talking about you guys. So, let's get started. I will quickly touch the topics like the need for business schools in India so that you understand why this education is important for you. Why are you choosing this school? Why are you putting in your efforts and your hard earned money in this course and in NDIIT? Have you guys ever wondered why so many young professionals are eager to get into business schools like NDIIT? Why there's such a rush on MBA and PGDM programs? It must not just be about getting a degree. It's degrees, all of us know that's just a piece of paper, and there's nothing like it about a degree. There's a greater picture in here. It's about unlocking opportunities, owning skills, shaping leaders who can navigate and drive the ever evolving economy of India. If you see, business education in India evolved significantly over the years. If we were to talk about 10 years previously, there were just a handful of business schools. There were not as many business schools as we see today. These schools are that one-stop solution which train you. These schools are like the training grounds for future leaders like you in the economy. There's often a gap. Say, you guys must be thinking, but why business school, Vishali? Why not normal education institution? Why not maybe DU? Why can we not pursue something like a BCom and then go into some managerial courses? But you need to understand that there's a gap between the skills taught at traditional education schools and the practical skills needed to excel in the corporate area. Business school address this by offering specialized programs, practical training, internships, and whatnot. Let's start with a bit of history. Do we remember the economic boom that India saw in terms of IT and service sectors? All of you must be agreeing with me that yes, Vishali, India has suddenly seen that apart from India being an agricultural led economy, it has now transitioned to an IT service sector economy. Most of our generations, most of our people are now transitioning from doing the basic roles of maybe agriculture and maybe accounting and maybe something related to IT led economy, to service sector economy. Am I correct? India India's IT and service sector has experienced remarkable growth over the few decades, significantly boosting the country's economy. This boom can be attributed to either economic liberalization, a large pool of skilled professionals, English proficiency, government support, and global outsourcing trends. As a result, the sector has become a major employer and a substantial contributor to GDP. Do we know how much the IT sector right now contributes to the GDP of India? Any guesses about it? Okay. It currently is contributing around 7 to 8% of the country's GDP, and believe me, this is not a small number. This growth must not just be about technology. It was about having the right people to manage and lead these companies. Skilled managers with strategic mindsets played a huge role, and many of these leaders came from business schools like yours. Take the example of Mr. Narayan Murthy. You guys must know about Mr. Narayan Murthy, right? Guys, I need answers. I need this section to be interactive. Do we know who Mr. Narayan Murthy is? So Mr. Narayan Murthy is the co-founder of Infosys. Yeah, Aiden, you were willing to say something or what?
No, yes, ma'am. I know about it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So Mr. Narayan Murthy is the co-founder of Infosys. He belongs to IIM Ahmedabad, a very renowned college. His strategic thinking and problem-solving abilities owned during his time at this school enabled him to build one of India's largest IT companies, which now has a global footprint. This illustrates how the skills acquired at a business school are directly applicable to real world scenarios, enabling graduates to drive innovation and efficiency in their organization. Now let's think back to the early 1990s. Do we remember the liberalization policy? All of us have been taught about it in the 11th standard or maybe in 12th standard, our old school economic books, wherein we were told that India opened its arm towards liberalization, and suddenly there was a need for professionals who understood not just the local rules, but they understood about the global practices. They understood about the international trends. And how do you think these guys understood about all of it? Somebody must have taught them about all of it, right? These business schools were playing their role there. Business schools quickly adapted, updated their courses to teach the latest in management and global trends. This education helped a whole lot of generation of managers of Indian companies into the global arena. Let me try and help you understand this with a picture. Imagine it's 2020 and we all of us are hit by COVID-19. All of us have closely seen how businesses were struggling, right? All of the businesses were struggling with, maybe to start with, employee shortages. People were getting sick, people were taking leaves, they did not have manpower, they were to shift to work from home suddenly, immediately. Not many of the companies had the background, had the foundation back then to support a work from home setup, right? Liquidity issues, revenues going down and whatnot. I personally have back then I was working in an industry, and I've personally seen how revenues were going down, how 30, 40, 50% of manpower was going on sick leaves, or maybe was going on COVID leaves, and there was nobody to support the infrastructure. Then only the people who had sound foundation, who had sound technical knowledge, could lead their companies towards the end of the COVID-19. If we know about Tata Consultancy Services, Mr. Rajesh Gopinathan, the CEO of Tata Consultancy Services, he also holds an MBA degree, led TCS through the pandemic by swiftly implementing a secure remote working model that is also called as SBWS. Once you guys will enter into your corporate journey, you guys will understand what these softwares are. This software, in the leadership of Mr. Gopinathan, enabled their 95% of their workforce to work remotely in a shorter period. Okay, now do you guys want me to give a little few real life examples, or how do you want me to proceed? Because I see no interaction as of now. So, do you guys want me to tell you about real life examples, or how do you want to proceed? Or maybe we can do a little quiz to understand how much do you know about the business here and there, and something like it. Maybe quick yes or no.
Ma'am, can you give one of the real life examples so we can better understand?
Yeah, sure. So, I can give you examples of renowned people like maybe Ritesh Agarwal. You must have heard him. He's the co-founder. He's not the co-founder, but the founder of Oyo Rooms. And Indra Nooyi, who is the former CEO of PepsiCo. Everybody has known about the journey of Indra Nooyi, who she also holds a business school degree, and she leads the world's largest beverage company, which is PepsiCo. And her journey in the corporate has been a testament to the power of business education. She often credits her business school background for providing the foundation of her success. Think about startups like Flipkart, Zomato. Sachin and Binny Bansal of Flipkart, they started as a bookstore, the biggest books. They started as a bookstore, and now they are the biggest e-commerce website in the world right now. And maybe Deepinder Goyal from Zomato, who used his business knowledge to create company who revolutionized the food delivery in India. Their time in business school gave them the tools they needed to turn their business ideas into reality. And even if I were to talk about myself, I myself own an event management company, and I in daily life see that I am a CA, as I told you earlier, but I also wanted to pursue an MBA. But now that I have established myself in my journey. So I could not complete my MBA further, but I myself own an event management company, and I see daily that how this concepts provided and taught during your journey at business schools. I work with people who are MBAs or holding similar degrees, can better analyze the situations, can better articulate the situations available right there in, or maybe the obstacles that they see, and can present a better innovative idea to deal with it. So yeah, that's a little about it. Now,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah, so thank you. But now you must be thinking, Vishali, is it only about starting startups or new companies? Kya? How can we not? Maybe we just want to stay in jobs. Not everybody wants to become an entrepreneur, right? We want an easy life, like we want a settling life. We want to be in jobs, correct? And you must not believe, but at KPMG, I have seen firsthand how managers with a business education can quickly adapt to changing market conditions, can lead their teams to success. They bring strategic thinking and informed decision making to the table, which is crucial for navigating today's business world. Furthermore, business schools in India are placing a greater emphasis on sustainability and ethics. They're teaching students to take decisions and benefit not just businesses but society as a whole. Courses on corporate social responsibilities and sustainable business practices are becoming standard these days. This is initial for creating a sustainable and ethical business environment. As you embark on your PGDM journey, remember that you are not just gaining knowledge for yourself, but you are being prepared to contribute to the broader economy and make a difference in the world. When I qualified my CA, I used to often think, like, I always wanted in my heart that I want to, start up a company and then maybe do something of that sort. And I was never a person who must be willing to continue in a job. And when I qualified CA, I always used to think that, oh, am I supposed to just maybe do this only, and how am I supposed to maybe find something that the segment of the country or the state or a little narrowed universe around me maybe need. Let me find something that I can create. Let me find a product or a service that I can deliver. And I always used to think that if I would have pursued an MBA rather, my mind would have been a little critical more towards analyzing the business situations and not just about handling the finances of one company. And that only made me start my own venture towards event management and everything else. Okay, now, do you have any questions, by the way, from before I proceed further?
No, ma'am.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm assuming there are no questions. If you guys have any questions related to what I'm speaking, anything that you have in your mind, irrelevant maybe to the topic or anything about me, you guys can just unmute yourself and speak. Okay. Okay, let's now to engage our audience a little better. Let's try and play a quick 5-question quiz. Are we done with it? Are we okay with it? Are we interested? Cool. Thanks. Okay, so I will just say the question and you guys need to unmute yourself as the drill goes, and you guys need to tell me the answer. Okay. So which Indian entrepreneur started his career by selling tea at a railway station? And don't tell me Mr. Narendra Modi, huh? Okay, go ahead. Which Indian entrepreneur started his career by selling tea at a railway station? Any guesses? गलत आंसर के कोई वो नहीं है. At least tell me the names of people you know. Okay, let me give you a hint. This person is related to the biggest school in Mumbai where all the star kids are studying. Now you must know. Okay, I'm talking about Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay, perfect. So which Indian startup began as an online bookstore and is now one of the largest e-commerce platform? If you guys were listening to me, you must.
Flipkart, ma'am.
Aiden is the only person listening here. Okay. Okay, I am assuming this is a for sure. You guys need to answer this to me. Huh? What is the term for a market structure where only a few firms dominate? 11th में पढ़ा है हमने ये. What is the term for a market structure where only a few firms dominate? Do we remember monopoly?
Monopoly, yes.
This is oligopoly. Monopoly
Yes,
is
ma'am.
when just one firm dominates. Like, for example, oligopoly is the current scenario of telecom market, Jio and Airtel, right? Only two people are dominating the whole industry. So that is oligopoly, right? Okay. Another interesting question. Which Indian business tycoon was the chairman of Tata Sons and known for his philanthropic efforts? अब तो बता दो यार.
Ratan Tata.
Best. Correct. Philanthropic से तो याद आना चाहिए, नहीं? Which Indian company is the largest manufacturer of motorcycles? I'm expecting answers from all the guys here to this question. Which Indian company is the world's largest manufacturer of motorcycles?
Honda.
Hero MotoCorp. But you are still so better, Rima. These guys are not even answering. Cool. Well, great job on the quizzes, guys. Everybody, mainly Aaron and Rima. We've had some fun questions and learned a little about this. Now, let me try and make you understand the whole role being played by business graduates with the help of a case study. Are we in for this? Perfect.
Yes.
So, all of us know business graduates often become entrepreneurs, starting new ventures that introduce innovative products and services to the market, thereby creating jobs and all those normal things that we have been talking in length about from past half an hour. Now, all of us have heard about the brand Nykaa, right? Have you heard about it? Let's deep dive into the business dynamics of Nykaa. Who would tell me a little about Nykaa? What does Nykaa do?
हम स्किन केयर और कॉस्मेटिक्स सेल करते हूँ.
Perfect. Yeah. So Nykaa is an Indian e-commerce company focusing on beauty and wellness product. It was founded in 2012 by Ms. Falguni Nair, a former managing director at Kotak Mahindra Capital Company. So she was in a professional role, like a job back then, and then she founded Nykaa in 2012. And all of us must remember that in 2021 Nykaa got listed as well, and Nair's extensive business background and insights into the market dynamics were crucial in shaping Nykaa's success. Now let's consider a few challenges that Nykaa had to face while they entered into the market. Nykaa entered a market dominated by well-established players. Who were the well-established players for Nykaa? Maybe the competitors. Shoppers Stop, brick and mortar stores, lifestyle. These were few established few established players that Nykaa had as a competition while Nykaa entered into the. Is somebody texting on the chat? I can't see it. Well, I just can't see the chat option. So if anybody has to ask me a question, just please ask it. Okay. Anyway, so the few challenges that Nykaa had to encounter were building trust in a nascent e-commerce market wherein people already have their options. If somebody needs to, like, there was not a problem that if I were to buy a specific product, I can go and buy that product even if Nykaa wasn't there, right? I could find that product on a relevant platform. So Nykaa had to build brand trust in a nascent e-commerce environment, competing against global giants like brick and mortar stores with larger marketing budgets, ensuring product authenticity and quality in a market fraught with counterfeits. Now let's understand what were the strategies that were employed by Mrs. Nair to tackle all of it. So first, that she focused on niche focus and market positioning. She understood that on all these stores they were surely selling the products that we as a customer were must be requiring, but they were being sold under different brand names. Like Shopper Stop must be selling 10 items, then Lifestyle would sell another 20 items. Nykaa understood, Miss Falguni understood that bringing all of this together under one roof will help the customer understand that, hey, this is my one stop solution. Hey, this is the place where I need to go. So Nykaa and Nair leveraged her business expertise to position Nykaa as a specialist in beauty and wellness, catering to a underserved niche. This clear focus helped Nykaa differentiate from other e-commerce platforms. They used yes, Azhar. Are you speaking? I saw a raised hand. Okay, anyway, by mistake. So then they used omni-channel strategy. Do we know what omni-channel strategy is? An omni-channel strategy is giving the consumer the same experience as if they surf online, if they use your website online, or if they go on an offline store of your company. The experience should be the same. It aims to ensure that customers have a consistent and unified common experience, whether they interact with the brand online, in store, through mobile apps, or via other channels. Understanding the importance of a seamless customer experience, Nykaa adopted an omni-channel approach, combining online and offline retail. This included the launch of physical stores across India, providing customers with the option to experience products in person. One more thing that I want to highlight here personally is that you guys must have heard about order to sale and then just in time purchases. That people, what people do is that they will take order from you and then they will go back to in the supply chain. Then they will ask their suppliers, their producers, that hey, I have received a product of, let's say, let's take a very simple example, 10 moisturizers, right? They would go back and then they would tell their suppliers that hey, I need this order. Then the supplier would go back, tell the production team that hey, you need to produce this. Then the logistics and so forth and so on. This would increase the time that the consumer will receive their product. And considering the people that Nykaa cater to, specifically girls and women's, and as beauty is generally considered with women's, we often require products with a 1 or 2 day delivery, a 3 day delivery at max. So what Nykaa did was that they, instead of keeping a just-in-time approach, keeping a reverse approach, they started procuring their inventory. They started keeping it in warehouses. They started, instead of first starting their stores on online and offline, sorry, online they had it, offline they started procuring warehouses. They started maintaining an inventory. They started analyzing in a general basis and a general term that what do the women in the industry and in common require. They understood the trend. They understood the requirement of the customer that they had to serve, which is why we call it as underserved niche. And then they started procuring things and then they kept it as inventory. That's the reason that Nykaa delivers so quickly as compared to other brands, because their main cost is of warehousing, renting, and inventory storing. So that's where Mrs. Nair had to play her role of strategic thinking and then laying a foundation for the business to come and to build a company as big as Nykaa. Nykaa implemented strict quality control measures to ensure product authenticity, addressing a significant customer concerns. The company's focus on genuine products helped build trust and loyalty, of course. Utilizing advanced data analytics, Nykaa personalized customer experiences, optimized inventory, and targeted marketing efforts. This data-driven approach enhanced customer satisfaction and, of course, resulting in increased sales. Are we clear till here? Do we have any questions? Cool. So what were the results out of it? We all understood these were the challenges, these were the strategies adopted, but Vaishali, what about the results? Nykaa grew rapidly, establishing itself as a leading beauty retailer in India. Nykaa today is a trusted brand among the beauty industry and the people and the ladies living here in India. The company's annual revenue surged and it successfully expanded its product offerings. Nykaa's innovative strategies and customer centric approach led to its IPO, ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, valuing the company at over $13 billion, making Falguni Nair one of the India's wealthiest, I mind you, wealthiest self made female billionaire. Now, what is the impact of all of it on economy? We are here, of course, to not understand that how good that we can do for ourselves, but how to contribute to the economy. Directly or indirectly, Nykaa's expansion created thousands of direct and indirect jobs in retail. Right from logistics to customer service to warehousing to everywhere, Nykaa has created lots and lots of jobs. Market transformation. The success of Nykaa influenced other players in the market to improve their offerings. You guys must have heard about the brand Purple. Is in direct competition with Nykaa. But then the strategies that Purple adopts are way lesser and way quantum of Purple is way behind of that of Nykaa. So it has influenced other players in the market to improve their offerings and focus on customer experiences and not just selling their product ad hoc, raising the overall standards of the beauty and wellness industry in India. and of course women empowerment. Even for myself, when I see such impactful leaders, be it a man, be it a woman, I myself get inspired, and so should you. So as a women-led business, Nika inspired many aspiring female entrepreneurs, promoting gender diversity in the business world. So, to conclude this, the case of Nika exemplifies how business graduates can drive significant important impact through innovative thinking, strategic planning, effective execution. Falguni Nayar's journey from a finance professional, as she used to do a job at Kotak Mahindra, to a successful entrepreneur illustrates the transformative power of a solid business education combined with practical experiences. Okay, now that we've understood and talked about it in length, I do understand the session might be getting a little overwhelming for you. Please say no. Please say it was very easy. But I understand that it was overwhelming and content heavy. Before we proceed, if you guys have any questions regarding anything, be it about studies, I am iterating myself again about the job, maybe about the experiences, anything you're free to ask. And I am expecting questions here. Please ask, guys. Please.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, you have a great communication and verbal skills. Can you also give some tips regarding also?
Regarding communication?
Yes, ma'am. Regarding communication and verbal skills, can you give some tips?
Okay, so I will tell you one very silly thing. So I used to always speak like a bullet train. Okay, like whenever I was in school, since first standard, मुझे बहुत शौक था कि मैडम मैं रीड करके सुनाऊंगी, ठीक है. तो मैं फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड तक ऐसे बहुत जल्दी जल्दी रीड करती थी. और मेरे घर के अगल बगल जो लोग होते थे, दे यूज्ड टू लाइक रियली प्रेज मी कि ओ इनकी बच्ची तो कितनी जल्दी इंग्लिश पढ़ती है, ओ माय गॉड types. But then when I was in fifth standard, there was this new teacher who entered my school in fifth class, and then she used to I as usual I raised my hand, madam मैं पढ़ के बताऊंगी, मैं इस क्लास की वो हूँ, मतलब सबसे बड़ी अच्छी बच्ची, मैं पढ़ के सुनाऊंगी. And I stood up, and then this teacher told me, I read one or two paragraphs, and then this teacher told me, तुम मेरी क्लास में कभी दोबारा नहीं खड़े होके पढ़ोगी, because you make a khichdi out of everything and you don't read nicely. And that was the first time wherein I understood, okay, that's not how things are done. And I started, though I was just in fifth standard, it seems stupid, but I myself started taking care of my communication skills back then. And then when I changed schools, when I was in 11th standard, I used to participate in debates and declamations, and anywhere I'm getting to speak, I would just go. Vishali would be the first person to talk. So the first hand tip would be, no matter how afraid you are, no matter if your hands are shivering. Okay, mine I get to see it all the time, like my hands are shivering all the time. No matter how much your hands are shivering, speak in front of the mirror. Whatever chance you get, just go and start speaking, and speak in front of the mirror. Record yourself, listen to yourself. Like, I still do it. I was going to ask, give me a recording of this session, but I saw that this is already getting recorded, so I was like, okay. But I still do it, and I still listen to whatever I am saying, whatever I am speaking, and then maybe I ask feedback from the people. Like, my last question would have always been like, am I speaking too fast? इस सेशन के बाद मैं आप लोगों से भी पूछती कि क्या मैं बहुत जल्दी बोल रही हूँ, क्या आप लोगों को लगता है कि कुछ और ठीक करना चाहिए. So always seek for feedback. Always take feedback really receptively. Even if somebody is telling you the feedback or anything in between while you're speaking, never take it negatively. Always incorporate it with a happy smile, and then you would never be having any problem. But just don't lose any chance of speaking wherever you get. Your English, your grammatical things, your communication skills will always and always improve. And one more important thing is, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Like, listen first whatever the other person is saying. Whenever you are in a conversation, like, you wouldn't really get chances like itni jaldi, like the way I am taking a session, you wouldn't get such chances really early on in your career. So whenever you are in a conversation with anybody, maybe your teacher, maybe your friend, listen properly. Okay, once they finish, only then, don't ever try and seek to complete other people's sentences. It will make you a great communicator, trust me. The moment you start listening to other people and then fully understanding and absorbing what they're trying to say, the moment you start responding, not reacting to their conversation or statements, you will automatically become a great communicator. So that's about it.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Anybody else? Anything else? Yeah, I like it so much when people ask me questions. Please ask me questions. No? I don't think anybody is interested. So, okay. Proceeding further, let's dive into how you can make the most of your time here at NDIIT, and that's why I'm here, and what skills you should focus on developing. One of the most valuable aspect of attending a business school like yours is the network that you build. All of you must agree with me that alumni networks, industry connections, peer networks provide invaluable support and opportunities. For example, I when I was were to start my company, I never had the idea. Like, I knew that okay, I need to do something, but I never knew what am I supposed to do. I was like that headless chicken who was roaming here and there to, like, I need to start my company, but then she didn't know what does she want to start with. And there was this one director in my company who used to give me chances and opportunities to invite to do office parties and all, maybe do town halls, prepare for the town halls, facilitate the town hall completely, and any office event that's happening. I did it for a year. And then when I was leaving the company, this director suggested me that, hey Vishali, you've always been talking about that you want to start your own company. Why don't you start with event management? Why don't you start with a company that you are emotionally attached with? And why don't you start something like this? You will be attached to it, you'll be able to deliver things, and you have had experience about all of it. And I was like, yeah, why wasn't I thinking about it when I've done similar things like it in past? Why can I not do it about? And nobody else would have ever come and told. No, none of my friends, not my parents, would have come and told that, hey, you should start a business company, right? But your networks, your teachers, the colleagues that you meet in office, who knows, even the colleagues that you have today, maybe you will be your competitors the next day, maybe you will be your clients the next day. Maybe Rima starts some ABC company and Erin starts some ABC company, and both of you deliver the services to each other. This foundation that you create and live by this time will foster future relationships, right? Will foster relationships. If Rima has to start a logistic company, so to say, and Aaron is somebody who supplies manpower, Rima will not talk to other 10 people, but will talk to Aaron that, hey Aaron, you had a similar manpower company, would you be able to supply me so and so sources, right? So that's the power of networking. That's the power of peer connect. Your teachers have invaluable experience, and believe me on this, your teachers can share the life lessons, the teachings that they have had, and everything with you if you just maintain a nice spark with them, a nice rapport with them. Be nice with them, understand fully what they're trying to teach you. It's just for all your good. And even if you're not interested in study, sometimes we get bored and like we're like, no, we're not interested in studying. But always and always maintain a standy relationship with all your friends, with all your colleagues, with all your teachers, and the expanded network. Okay, so the network that you're going to build right now will not only provide you mentorship, but also opens doors to opportunities that might not be accessible otherwise. As we talked, the relationship that you build with your classmate can also last a lifetime. Your peers today may be your business partners, colleagues, or even clients tomorrow, forming a support system that can help you navigate your career. Internships are another fantastic way to gain practical experience and understand how theoretical concepts apply in the real world. Look for opportunities that align with your career goals. Participating in extracurricular activities can help you develop essential soft skills like maybe teamwork, leadership, and communication. Finally, always keep learning. That's like one mantra that you can never ever forget about. Stay updated with the latest trends and developments in your field, read industry news, attend webinars, take additional courses if needed. Whatsoever is required to build that path of success, you are supposed to do it. Effective leadership is crucial for success in any organization. All of us know it. And business graduates are trained to be leaders who can manage teams, drive performance, and lead with vision and integrity. All of us know about Sundar Pichai. Do we not? Do we know him? Thank
Yes.
you. So, he is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and Stanford University. His leadership has been instrumental in Google's continuous innovation and growth. And I did not provide any testament to it. Everybody knows it. Business graduates like Pichai equipped to steer companies through challenges and towards growth, making them invaluable, I believe, invaluable in today's economy. And as we wrap up our session today, it's clear that the role of business schools in India and the impact of business graduates is more critical than ever. Our discussion has highlighted how business schools are not just academic institutions but catalysts for growth and innovation in rapidly evolving economy. In a country like India, where the business landscape is dynamic and full of opportunities, business schools provide the essential tools, insights, and skills needed to navigate this complexity. They equip you with not just theoretical knowledge, but practical, actionable strategies that can make a significant difference in the real world. As future business leaders, yes, I'm talking about you guys, be happy, show me some smiles. You will be at the forefront of this transformation. Whether you are aspiring to launch your own startup, join a multinational corporation, or drive change in any sector, remember that your education is a powerful enabler. It's not just about the degree titles, it's about how you apply what you've learned to solve real world problems, drive growth, and make a meaningful impact. As I always say, whenever I interact with a client, doesn't matter who the manager is, doesn't matter who the junior is. I always say I am the USP of my client. Doesn't matter, you change the whole team, but if Vishali is there, I will handle my client. That's the confidence that you need to have in yourself. Does not matter what the situation is. I believe in my education. I believe in what capabilities do I hold. And if I am there, that is the client is lucky to have me. Just that confidence, be it a little Kareena Kapoor types, but have that confidence in yourself to excel. Think of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead as a canvas where you can apply your knowledge and skills. Embrace the role of being a problem solver, a strategist, and an innovator. Be proactive in seeking knowledge. Never be shy, never shy away from asking questions like today. Most of you guys were like really shy. Next time if I come and see you guys in your college, no, I need a list of questions. Be adaptable to change and committed to continuous learning. In conclusion, as you embark on this exciting journey through business school and beyond, remember that your role in the economy is pivotal. You're not just preparing for a career, you're preparing to influence and shape the future of the country. Thank you for your engagement today, and I'm happy to take this session again. Thank you. Any questions? Bye,
Thank
Someone is asking some questions. Come forward, ask any. Vaishali has said any silly questions doesn't
I'm
matter.
also welcome. Like, no question is silly.
Yeah, sure. Don't judge yourself. It could be very interesting also.
Yeah, if you
Come
guys have
forward.
any questions, anything, it must not be about the session, but I am really nervous about the journey.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Say,
I want to ask how to make this 2-year journey more impactful.
sorry, can you repeat again?
How to make her journey, 2-year journey, more impactful. Is it correct? Am I have I heard correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
want- Yeah, it was her
For
question.
that, yeah, right now, so I guess you've already enrolled for a great course. What is expected out of you right now is just understand how the businesses around you are evolving. There's a channel on YouTube which I used to follow when back then 2-3 years ago, which is Think School. They showcase really great case studies. All of you guys should subscribe to Think School, and then you should see they just elaborate they just dissect each and every company that you see around, and they will present to you a business model in such a manner that you will be like, oh my god, I need to start a company again. And as I do for myself, I never miss an opportunity. Whosoever, everybody comes. In any case, if somebody has come to me, I'll be like, yes, I will do it. Be it whatever. If it's a project, I will do it. If it's a session like this, I'm like, I will do it. Doesn't matter who is approaching me, how they are approaching me. Vishali is always in for opportunities. So should you. You should never say no to anything, but obviously not at the cost of you being flustered with many things at a time. Like I have always been told that, Vishali, please analyze your work at hand and then say yes to people before just jumping right away that I can do everything. That's not a very right attitude. So be willing to step out of your comfort zone, be willing to uh, take challenges and understand, and always keep challenging yourself that, can I do this? Yeah, yes, I can do this. That's more like it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody else? I guess we are done then because no questions I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, your exuberance has brushed on me also. Being the Dean Academic of NDIIT, of course, keep learning, students, continuous learning. That I have learned it. I learned so many things from you today. One
Thank
thing
you.
is,
That's
yes,
so sweet of you.
what do the B schools contribute to the nation, to yourself, and what are the things, strategic thinking you have mentioned? One thing I liked it, the strategic thinking, innovations, and one case study you have taken of Falguni Nayak, who is very inspiring. All those bios are always be very inspirational for the future generations. Take out some always the inspirational things from the journey or the success towards how they have achieved the journey. And the way you are going, Vaishali, I think someday you will be joining the ranks of the Falguni Nair. Is it so?
I hope so.
Yeah, because Falguni has achieved it in the, I think she was in the late 40s. Is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
By
Um,
that time, you certainly would become one of. Yeah, you have started very early. That is what our students can always learn from you as well. That in such a young age, you have started and inspiring, and you have so your speaking skill. And again, it is not just blah blah blah. It was substantial, and it was substantial in the way it was not. It was always be like flooded with a good number of the ideas, words. It was very valuable for each one, each students as well as me also to emulate. Thank you very much, Vaisali, for this candid and enthusiastic exuberance, everything that associated with all those adjectives.
Thank you. Thank you so
We
much.
we wish you all success in your future endeavors. Whatever you do, success should be yours. You grab it with your both hands and keep your association with us. Keep coming online, offline, whatever suits you. As you have said, you are open to the ideas of speaking to the children, guide our students, us also, how we can do better. Thanks a lot for this lively session. Thanks once again. Thanks is not, I think it is not enough.
Oh my God. I am so happy now.
Yes,
Really.
ma'am.
Mm. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm equally happy to be here and talking to such nicely, nice and mannered people.
Okay. We're signing off from here. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye
Have a
bye.
good day. Bye.